Brexit.
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 The biggest choice we'll face in a generation.
Do we want to stay or do we want to go?
We are approaching one of the biggest decisions this country will face in our lifetimes, whether to remain in a reformed European Union or to leave. The choice goes to the heart of the kind of country we want to be and the future that we want for our children.
If the Brits leave the European Union, there are going to be a lot of other people that say that looks like a good idea, that referendum, especially if it looks costless, especially if the Brits seem like they're advantaged, God forbid, as a consequence, which means that the EU, it's really incumbent on them to make this process as painful and as costly. It's going to take a long time to actually effectuate. It's going to be enormously bureaucratic, and they're going to make it hurt. They're going to make it hurt from a financial sector perspective. They're going to make it hurt in terms of tariffs and trade. Security collaboration between the Brits and the Europeans will get weaker, not stronger. And the idea that the Brits will somehow be less vulnerable to migration and terrorism if they were to leave the EU, I think is wholly ludicrous. And yet, despite all of those things, there's a reasonably decent chance, almost a coin flip, that the Brits will indeed on June 23rd vote to leave. And the reason for that is because Europe looks so bad.
Cabinet agreed that the government's position will be to recommend that Britain remains in a reformed European Union.
Brexit should not be likely. There was a study that just came out from the Confederation of British Industries that in the incidence of Brexit, we would have a direct economic consequence to the UK of about $140 billion hit by 2020, and almost 1 million jobs, about 950,000 jobs. You know, everything about Europe, whether it's governance, whether it's the strength of leadership from someone like Angela Merkel, whether it's terrorist threat, whether it's the refugees and the unwillingness of anyone to accept them, the ineffectualness of decision-making processes in Brussels or to Brussels, all of those things are going to look uglier in June 23rd than they look today. At the end of the day, referenda and elections are about turnout, they're about passions, and how are you going to get people to actually say that they support in large numbers this unpopular Europe?